So when we observe the Brazilian states with treaties, we have the main mechanism of the treaty against double taxation, that in this case is the equal credit, right? But we have an amendment to this norm. After 2007, this part of the test was added. Let's read. Observing the Brazilian legal system related to the consideration of paid taxes abroad when occurs Brazilian taxation. Observing this, or in other words, this is the first step to make this a rule. And this is illegal, this is unlawful, this is against the Brazilian Federal Constitution, because this is related to the power of the treaty into the juridical system, right? And of course, if it's an international treaty against states, the norm of the treaty need stay above the domestic law, right? So, the test of the amendment is unlawful. The main force of a treaty is based on their prevalence above the laws, right? Domestic laws, not of the Constitution, of course. But treaties shall serve only the Constitution, not federal law or other norms in for Constitution. And this is a positive command in our legal system. The Brazilian Tax Codex established treaties and international conventions abrogates or modifies the domestic tax laws and will be observed by the new laws, right? So let's think about the possibility of a JET, because of course exists, make the interpretation of these rules in a wrong sense. For example, treaties are weaker than Brazilian federal law, right? No, this is wrong. Of course this is wrong. And why this is wrong? And if the Brazilian judges do not accord with this, what will happen? Of course, as any economical environment, trust, credibility is what make the monies move. The movement of the capital is based on trust. So if a person give a word, a state, the Brazilian state give the word, and the actions are not similar, how Brazil can be trustful? So of course we need respect, and I have sure the Brazilian authorities will respect the power of the treaties. And this is the first step. Choose jurisdictions with treaties against double taxation through doing business internationally. So let's see the treaty Brazil-Belgium and analyze the business profits in the Article 7 of the treaty. The profits of an enterprise of a contracting state shall be taxable only in that state. So in Brazil, a Brazilian company in Brazil, right? Taxed in Brazil. Unless the enterprise carries on business in the other contracting state, for example Belgium, through a permanent establishment situated in this state. Então, an office or a factory without legal personality in Belgium. So, the situation, the fact, a Brazilian holding company and an office without legal personality in Belgium that is connected with this Brazilian company. The norm of the treaty established that Belgian authorities can make the taxation of the office, the profits earned through this office, right? Right, okay. And this is a permanent establishment, this office, according to the treaty. So, we are talking about a factum societas, right? If we talk about a legal entity, for example, a Société Privée La Responsabilité Limitée in Belgium, that is connected with the Brazilian holding company. It's not a permanent establishment because have legal personality. Right. But the taxation is equal, of course. So we have a foreign office without legal personality in the region of Flanders, for example, taxation in Belgium. Brazilian company headquartered at São Paulo, taxation in Brazil, but with credits by the payment of these taxes. Right? And here, when we have a Belgian company in the region of Flanders, for example, a controller associated with a Brazilian company, so what we have? A taxation in Belgium. So it's equal, right? Let's talk in the next part on dividends and interest on all capital.